Welcome to Fishing for Bees. This is my YouTube channel on swarm catching and beekeeping. If you're new to the channel, everything here is a swarm catch. Everything in our production yard is a swarm catch. So if that's anything that interests you, please like and subscribe. So anyways, this catch is difficult to determine when it was made because the homeowner was on vacation and I didn't check it. So it's a move-in from anywhere from 5 days ago to 13 days ago. And it was, when I went to retrieve it, not level in the tree anymore. So that's all problematic. This could be a cutout, but we're going to do this video on how I transfer a swarm catch. So first things first is I move them at night. I confirm that I have caught by a visual. I have plugs on the bottom and the top of most of my traps, so I can just remove a plug and take a peek. But confirm that you've caught before you move. I've almost moved 10 orphan bees one time and it would have been a real bummer. So confirm that you've caught, move at night so that you don't leave orphans. You can still leave orphans, foragers don't come home at night, but I found that it's best to move at night. I've tried to beat them in the morning as early as 5:15 in the morning and I left orphans. So I'm not moving in the morning anymore. I can't beat ambitious foragers. I'm anticipating I might have some problems in here. I should have brought some rubber bands. I may need to go get some because this has been up for so long. I think it's a good sized swarm and swarms build a lot of comb really quick. This could be very problematic. So I brought a knife to cut the comb and we'll see what we got. All right, so one of the steps I forgot to mention that's really important is after I move at night, I bring it to the location. I put it either on top of where it's gonna go as far as the new permanent home or in the exact spot as the permanent home. If it's a different configuration, you got a nuke with a front entrance and a 10 frame with a side entrance, I try and keep them in the same location so that orientation flights are for this location, not necessarily the box or the home. So very, very important. Put it in the location that you intend to keep it. People have asked me, how long do you leave them there? I have installed them late afternoon the next day after moving them, but I do like to wait about 24 hours. Late afternoon orientation flights have taken place and I think you're safe to do the install the next day after the move. Initially, when I pop the lid, I take a look at where we're at as far as frames of bees, and I can see this is my bait comb. That's a solid frame of bees. This, you can already see white in there. They're drawn pretty well. This, you can see white. Over here, you can see white. This has not worked, so I would say this is about 3.5 frames of bees. That's a good sized catch. Frames go into service. I like to date them. Started dating late in the journey, so this one right here is not dated, but I know that it's from when I first started because the next year I started dating them. So I don't do much as far as looking for the queen. I don't look for the queen at all. I look for quick evidence of a laying queen because I think this has been in there for a while. So we should have some eggs. What's happening already in this trap? Bees are coming home. We got 40, 50 bees that have come home to this location. So that's how important your orientation flights are. I always start from the non-business end. I can tell there's not much going on over here. We got a little bit of comb being drawn. As I said, it wasn't level. And it looks like we might be missing a little bit. So there's no need to look for the queen on that one. No need to look for eggs. I use these installs to just get them in there safely. You still can force an absconding. I'm actually pretty happy with the way that comb is drawn. I think I lucked out, but you can see how pliable it is. So you have to be careful. You don't want to hold it horizontal when you're using starter strips. Just beautiful comb. Doesn't look like there's any eggs. I wouldn't anticipate she's over here yet. I like to keep the frames tight together as I install them because in the past I've spread them apart, especially in 10 frame installs, and you got 5 frames that are all spread apart and in different angles, and then you start pushing them together and you start crushing bees, which only makes other bees more upset. You can see it's starting to get busier. They're not exactly too happy for me to be in here, so I've learned pushing these frames together as you put them in, because I have no business to go back to these, makes it so much easier than trying to tighten them up and crushing bees in between. A little bit about this location. If you saw my other video that was just up on Wednesday, this is from the location that never caught for 3 years. I left a trap there for 3 years. I barely had scouts, no catches. Last year it caught 2. This year it caught 2 and it's currently winning. We have a competition with the homeowners as far as who can catch the most bees. So I'm just taking a quick look for eggs. I'm not seeing any but in white comb, no black foundation. It's not the easiest, but I do see eggs. And maybe my beautiful wife Elena can get a picture of this. Alright, so down in those cells, maybe you can see it, maybe you cannot. It looks like a little speck of rice. And it looks to me as if they're standing upright. That means the queen was just here within a day, if I'm not mistaken. So she could be on this frame. We want to get it in safely. But we have confirmation of a laying queen. I really don't need to see much more. I just want to get it in now. Again, it can be difficult to keep the bees from being crushed. That's why, as I mentioned, I take my time now putting these frames together. When I start introducing even more bees, you're going to see that these frames are getting busier and busier. Well, that's more and more bees that are going to be in there that have the potential to be crushed. And you can see they're all over the side walls of these frames. And that's right where you're going to crush them, right in there. If you need to politely move them, blow on them a little bit. So you can see down in those cells, there's some C's and some larvae. This has been in here for a while. Was a mated queen, wasn't a virgin queen. I wouldn't expect to see that much far of development if it was a virgin queen. So pretty awesome. They're doing great on the comb. I mean, look at this thing. You have to be careful with the late season catches because the probability of this being a virgin queen is a lot better later in the season than the first swarms of the season. First swarms of the season, you're getting overwintered queens usually. And then this may be a very young queen. We've already caught in this location about 5 or 6 weeks ago. This could be the daughter of the first caught that we made at this location. And she was probably mated at the colony, and then they built up and swarmed again. This is pretty light for the bait comb. The bait comb usually is what holds the brought resources. I have yet to find eggs or larvae in a bait comb, to be honest with you. It's what I was always told in the beginning. Oh, you put the bait comb so that the queen has a spot to immediately lay. I have never seen her immediately lay in the bait comb. The bait comb has been used to offload the resources carried by the foragers so that the foragers can go back out and collect more resources. So just like with beekeeping, you want your frames close together. Push them all together and then even spacing on each side. Then you come back. I'm pretty sure you can probably hear it. This is why I don't inspect. I look for evidence of a laying queen and I get it done. They're pretty riled up. You can see over here where the activity was, right? This is where all the business was happening on this side, and that's where the bees still are. In the past, I used to bang them all out. I don't do that anymore. If you see over here, now we have a waterfall. We have a rushing of bees coming out. If I obviously wasn't filming, this would have been a lot quicker, but this is why it needs to be quick. Like I said, I've banged this out before. I am not in a time crunch. I can always come back and grab that later. So I'm starting to just leave things. I will put it in front of the entrance, give them every opportunity to know where the entrance is, and just let them do it on their own. There is a concern that the queen could be on the side there. For me, I think it's minimal because that last frame was a resource frame, and you usually don't find queens on resource frames when there's freshly drawn comb and places for her to lay. So I'm pretty sure she was on one of those other ones. This thing's pretty well glued together. There's not even cleats on this. So we'll take it like this, lean it right there. Entrance is open, and they'll do the rest. So I always like to take a look at my entrance and just be sure that things are happening the way they're supposed to. Okay, this is very similar to fanning, which would be cooling of the colony, right? But this is pheromones. This is the Nasonoff gland. Don't quote me on it. This is them saying, hey, this is now our new home, and directing bees to this new entrance. So that's a great sign. Lovely to see. I'm just going to leave it at that. There's no more I need to do. You need to keep an eye on this, right? I wouldn't want to leave this here all night because there is a possibility, if the queen is in this box, that they will all come out of here and go back in this box. Also rain. If it's in the forecast, I wouldn't be doing this. You got to be careful. All right, so that's it. Pretty quick and easy. I'm grateful that there wasn't a bunch of comb drawn on the bottom of the frames, or crooked comb or wonky comb. One of the nice things about starter strips, though, is if you do get some comb that's not level, you kind of can push it in and fix things. So I have pushed it around a little bit. I didn't have to do anything with that. I'm actually shocked how level it is. So maybe that slipped out of level the day I picked it up. But this is catch number 8 on the year, second in that location. I will say that 2 of the catches were probably my own bees, so I'm only going to take credit for 6 catches this year. Again, if you're interested in swarm catching or beekeeping or anything like that, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope your bees are well.